There we go. How y'all doing tonight?
What's going on?
We're on our 105th episode here. We got some bear bows to talk about, some questions y'all sent in, all that good stuff. Hopefully y'all are doing good. Let me get my computer. Can y'all hear us okay? Let's see here. We got everybody popping in. Yeah, so the bear bows, the rep should be by probably next week. I'm curious about that top of the line bow myself. I'm very curious about it. Let's see. Going to have the 22 bow lineup. A lot of great choices. Yeah, we do real well with their middle of the road stuff. Their $400, $500, $600 stuff. And seem pretty happy with. What's up, Vanessa? Seem pretty happy with the stuff this year. So I think I've got this programmed right to where the pictures are going to pop up. I just don't know which picture is going to pop up. So let's look at them real quick. Let's see here. I think let's transition.
Which one you got?
This is the Redemption, which they had last year. 31-inch bow. 342 IBO, 26 to 30-inch draw. We've shot these, and it shoots good, but there's just a little vibration to it, just a little something there. So I don't know. I feel like if it was a $600 bow, it would be right along the right price range. But let's look at the next one here, which is the Whitetail Legend Pro. Let me flip it over here. Transition. All right. So this one, 30-inch axle to axle, 339 in the feet per second department, 26 to 30. It looks like the frame of the Divergent. What do y'all think? I'm pretty sure that's what.
It's either going to be the frame of the Divergent. I know there's one that I don't know if you got a picture of it up there, that Escalate.
Yeah, it's coming up in a minute.
All right.
Then we got what do we got coming up here? 32-inch model. I wish these things would have came up in order. This is going to be the Resurgence right here. Let me bring it over. It's a 32-inch axle to axle, 335 feet per second, 25.5 to 31. This is called the Resurgence. I think it's going to price out at about $630. I think it'll be a decent bow, from what I can tell. Then we've got the Prowess. We're going to flip over to it. And this bow was out before. It's a $530 bow, 29 and 1/16 axle to axle, 290 feet per second. And I don't know how they're measuring that on this particular bow because it's got a 23 to 28-inch draw. So it's targeted at like ladies and stuff. Let me keep flipping through them and then y'all can see our pretty faces again. Let's see here. Now we've got let me flip my page here. Looks like the good old Cruiser G2. It's been around for a while. Probably the most popular box store bow. We see them, come in from eBay, Amazon, that sort of thing. Not a bad bow. About a $420 package bow. Not a bad bow at all.
I was surprised that they still have the G2 in the lineup, because that, which is probably on there coming up, the Legit pretty much covers the same thing as that bow. So
yeah. Let's see where we are here. I wish this thing would have kept them in order for me. Let's back up. Alright, so here is the flagship coming up right here. This is the Refine Echo. This is the one I'd like to shoot. It's going to be a $1,000 bow, but 33 inches axle to axle, 342 feet per second, 26.5 to 30.5. I like the way it looks. I really do. It's got that cool riser design. You're going to get all that good let off.
they've actually got it in, let's see, the camo. You can get it in the Fredbear camo, Realtree Edge, Veil Whitetail, which is a new camo. Probably a lot of people are going to like this, but they're putting it in that Bottomland by Mossy Oak. And then you've got the Throwback, which is the black riser with the Fredbear camo limbs. They did it in a tan with the camo limbs, olive, and iron.
Pretty spiffy. I'm can't wait to shoot it next week, hopefully. Now we're going to flip to the Resurgence LD for you long draw folk. It's a little bit slower than the regular Resurgence, but you're going to get that extra feet per second because you got your long arms or whatever. So that is the LD model. Let's see where it takes us to next. I'm flipping and looking. Looks like we're coming up on the Alaskan. Flip over to the Alaskan. 32-inch bow, 335 feet per second, 25.5 to 31. It's going to be like a $530 bow. So I'm curious about it, because packaged out you'd be probably at 7 or below. So that could be a decent little setup. One of our favorite bows this year for kids and ladies, the Royale. They're keeping it the same, and it's hard to beat for the money. Let's see where it's taking us to now. Transition. Let's see what bow has popped up here now. Why didn't it keep this in order?
Which one you got?
The Escalate. No, it ain't the Escalate. 31, 342. Where are you at? Right here. This is the Redemption Echo. Okay, I think we talked about it a minute ago. And there, we've talked about that one. Let's flip to 30-inch 339.
On the Escalate?
No, I don't know what it just took us to. It's definitely not in the order I put it on here.
What'd you say, 31 and 339?
Here we go. This is the Whitetail Legend Pro. I think it's taking us back through what we have already looked at. Same thing, same thing. Okay. I think we're safe to pop our pretty heads back up here. But, let me flip it back. There we go. I'm curious to shoot them, especially the higher end stuff, and just see how it stacks up. In the past, to me, the Bear stuff is good up to about the $700-800 mark, but then when you get to that $1,000 mark and you're competing with these other big brands, there's just something not there. It's a little vibration or a little something weird. So, anyway. Let's see. Jeremy has got a crossbow he could possibly donate. That'd be cool. That'd be neat. We I had a few people reach out that I know of about accessories and stuff. We're still kind of looking for a bow to give away, and I ain't in a huge hurry, but be neat to figure out something in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, crossbow would be great.
Well, the first question I had, we already kind of covered. Jim wanted to know about the new bear bows. But Mark gets in with, what's a favorite budget crossbow?
Budget crossbow this year, well, we got a couple options. It's funny because Bear had came out with some, some extremely budget crossbows. Ordered them first of the year, and they came in like 2 weeks ago. So Bear's got a lot of options, and we sold them this year. The Intense was probably my favorite. You know, you're looking at like a $450 package with, comes with everything, a quiver, the bolts, a lighted reticle, you know, all that stuff. And then
the Trek 380, that's the one we just got in. I think it's around 350.
Yeah.
380 feet per second, 14 inches wide cocked. I see that they got a new, I guess this one took the place of the Saga 405. They call it the Conflict 405. And that's going to be somewhere around, probably right around the 500 range on it. So,
but you know, Bear's got a lot of good stuff. Another common one we don't sell, but we see a lot of, is that Centerpoint Sniper 370, and they've made a bunch of different models of it, and I think it sells in the $300 range.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Any used stick fingers in the shop? Not right now. Not right now. But yeah, I think the Centerpoint stuff. We've seen a few Killer Instincts come in lately. I know originally, about 2 years ago, they were having a lot of limb issues.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing they got that figured out, but they still scare me because of that.
Yep. Let's see. Harold asks, or says, having trouble keeping my bow from dropping below where I'm aiming. Any tips?
You know, it's probably really a form of target panic you got going on. So, you know, as far as setup wise, maybe put a back bar on it to try to get some of that weight up, but that's probably not going to cure it. You know what I mean? You probably honestly need to blank bail, or you know, step up to like 5 yards and still aim. But it's just weird how your brain works, because people that have, and I've had this happen before, but you move up to 5 yards and for whatever reason it's like, hey, this is just for play, and you can aim at it, and then you slowly back up. You know, after say a month, you know, you go to 10, 15, 20, whatever. But that's kind of where I would start.
I wonder, now this just be something off the top of my head, have you switched releases? That would be a good thing. If you switched release, if you went from handheld to an index or vice versa, you know, it could be something to do with that. So it's one of them. We need a little bit more info on that one.
Yeah. Michael said he got a Prime Nexus at 70 pounds, only put about 50 airs through it, and his strings, his servants are starting to separate. That's not normal. No, it's not normal. We've seen a little bit, it's hard to say, I mean, because it's only been a couple bows, but around the barrel of where the string hooks to the two around the cam, the yoke is what they call it. We've seen some weird separation on a couple. But yeah, it don't sound right. Holler, if you can, holler at the dealer, and Prime's pretty good about taking care of stuff, you know, especially with it being brand new.
Yeah. Let's see. Alan's, or he says, my nose button is scratching my nose pretty good. Have you guys seen this much?
No, not really. I will say though, you want to make sure it's kind of touching the front of your nose. If you like a side anchor or whatever, and it's coming across your nose, which is what it sounds like, that's probably the trouble. Either that or it's
set too low, which would be the same thing.
The tempo, let's see, we've still got, I might actually probably put a video out in the morning. We still got the tempo, the used tempo 28, 29 inch modules for it. We got a Q2, and I've still got a couple black San Litas I can get rid of. Let me think. Anyway, I'll probably throw a video up tomorrow morning about all that. Could you guys give me upgrades to the San Lita Dragon? Flinger. If I was going to do upgrades on the San Lita, I'd probably it's hard to say. I mean, if you could upgrade the sight and the rest, even if you put, say, a whisker biscuit on it, it's a little more stout than the rest that comes on it, or a drop away. If you're going to go drop away, maybe look into the Trophy Ridge Sink, because it don't break the bank, but it's a pretty good one. Mm-hmm. And then according to your price range, there's a lot of Trophy Ridge sights out there from $40 to $100 that would be a pretty big upgrade. I'd look into something like that. And then he said he's got one arrow that occasionally just kind of flings somewhere. If you've got any access to like a scale, definitely weigh them out, or mark that arrow. If it's always that one arrow, there's definitely something going on. When I'm shooting, if I notice I occasionally got a flyer, I'll just put like a little Sharpie mark on it, and if I notice it's always that arrow, then I know something's not right with it. If you got the arrows that come with a package, no, they're all over the place. And what sucks is they were originally offering you could buy just the bow without the arrows and the case and all that, and it had the sight and the rest on it, and that's what we were telling everybody to buy. Now they've flipped it, and you've got to buy the whole package, which is still a good deal. But we weighed out those arrows, and there was 80 grains difference in a dozen of those arrows. So for a kid, they may be okay, for a 7-year-old. But if you're trying to shoot a group with them, I'd probably find something else.
Barry gets in. He says, "Weird question. I'm having eye surgery on my right eye, and it may be a while until it's healed. Should I buy a cheap left-handed bow during that time? Shoot Pittman style, or just wait out the time not shooting?"
I think it's Pigman style.
Oh, Pigman, I got you. Autocorrect.
Yep. I don't know. I mean, if it's going to be a long while, maybe go left-handed, but if it's just a few months even, I don't know what I'd do. When the Pigman shot right-handed but with his left eye, everybody thought he was crazy, and that's not something we typically suggest, but it works for him. That might be an idea to not have to buy a bunch of stuff, because you're going to end up, I'm guessing, going back, with that eye working. If there's possible something, maybe you're not going to have good function in that eye, it's probably better you do go left-handed, but I don't think I'd buy a lefty just for a couple months.
Didn't he take and put the sight on the inside of the riser?
Yeah, he couldn't get enough adjustment, so he put it on the inside of the riser and would shoot with his left eye right-handed.
I mean, that may be something to look into. That way you're not, buying a whole nother bow.
And if I did, I'd buy something used, but it's going to be such a learning curve to try to flip the left-handed. I think you'd be better off either just chilling out or the Pigman stuff.
Yeah. Zach says, "Have you guys shot any tinted or colored lenses?"
I don't think I have. I've looked at some that Bowfinger has put out with their scope system, and I really liked them, but I've just never... I know in London, Kentucky, a lot of folks are shooting those amber lenses to try to draw as much light as possible because they're shooting down those power lines, but I had never really fooled with it, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
Is it Bowfinger? Who is it? Someone made like you kept your lens, but you could put like a...
I think it was Bowfinger.
Like just an adapter to it.
Yeah, they had all kind of apparatus that they were showing us at that show.
That might have been who it was. Let's see. Any tips on shooting during the winter with a ton of clothing on?
I'll wear an arm guard if I hunt or whatever, or we go 3D shooting and it's like freezing. I'll throw an arm guard on just to get all that clothing away. That's about it. I know some people just take an old sock and cut it and run it.
That's what I do.
How much difference between the Bear Legit and the Dragon X8? On paper, they're close. The Legit's got a beefier feeling riser. I don't know, shooting wise, I'd say the Legit's probably got it's hard to describe it, just a little more sturdy feel.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I was almost going to say a little bit, not a ton, or just maybe a slightly different, less mass on cam. But still a beefy cam on the legit, so it'd be a hard one to. Let's see, where am I at? Vernon gets in. I'm looking at 2 used bows and thought I would get your opinion. Matthews Halon 6 versus a Bowtech Experience.
I think if it was me, the Experience was a 2014 Bowtech, if I remember right, and that's when they were still having a few limb issues. I'd probably go Matthews in that case, unless there's some huge price difference or something.
Yeah.
We had an Experience shipped in 2014, 2015 time frame, and I remember the first pulled it back, guy shipped it in wanting us to put strings on it. Before I even done anything, I just took it out of the box, and when I pulled it back, boom, the limb exploded, and I called him. I was like, buddy, this thing, first pull, the limb is delaminated, and he started laughing. He said, well, I didn't tell you before I sent it. He said, but I actually shot it like 4 times when I first got it. He said, and the same thing happened. He said, that's brand new limbs on it. He said, so it don't surprise me. And I was like, good God.
That's one of them. I would ask if you could go shoot both those bows. That would be the thing. If you know, it was kind of a local deal.
Yeah, the Experience is a little more speed oriented, and I don't want to say jumpy, but just that speed feel, and that Halon's going to be probably a little smoother. Michael said, is there still prime black 5s out there new? Probably. We still had, well, we don't have them now, but we had some black 1s this year still hanging around that we had got rid of. But yeah, I'm sure there's dealers and stuff still with them on the shelf.
Mike asks, thoughts on Trophy Ridge accessories?
I like them. I mean, they got a good spread of cheap stuff up to, I mean, we've shot the React 1 Pros before and was real happy with them.
Yep. Just a tad bit heavy. But
yeah, but with all the crap they got on them, I mean, you had the little fiber optic things to line your pointer up with, 2 lights on it. I mean, I was real happy with it. But yeah, I mean, you know, you can, for us, we can sell a guy from Trophy Ridge, you know, a $60 or $80 or $100 single pin that works great, or we can bump him up to a $200 or $300 one. Same, you know, they make a lot of good stuff.
They do.
I don't really have. I mean, you get into the super cheap stuff that's all plastic, but for the most part, everything's great.
Let's see. Chad said, I'm ordering new strings soon. What colors look good on a Hoyt Nitram and Harvest Brown?
I think my favorite set that I've ever put on that color has been fluorescent yellow. But I've done some fluorescent orange too that didn't look bad. I guess it's just according to what. And I've done green. But I think the yellow, to me, just made it pop. I bet if you did flow yellow, maybe with a tan serving, or even a dark brown serving, it'd be looking good, if you like bright stuff.
I've heard of trees and camo, Samuel, but I hadn't really looked into it a whole lot. I've been interested in Element Outdoors. I've seen a lot of the TV personalities are wearing it, and I really never heard of them, so I've been trying to look into it to see what the hype is about it. So
let's see here. Trying to get back in here on my phone. There we go. Okay. What's a good way to tell a good bow shot from a bad one? that's you just got to deal with them, I guess. That's a hard one. I mean, I'd say just go in there and see if you get a good. Oh, I got my phone making sounds. See if you get a good, jive with them good, and then go from there. But there's a lot of them out there that are some cranky bow shops.
I have a new Bowtech. Do I really need new strings? Not unless you just shot the fire out of them. You should be good. I think
the fuse, or not the fuse, the, what do they call their strings?
I can't. That's what I'm sitting here trying to think.
Crap.
They're pretty decent strings.
Octane. Yeah, they're all right. How much time you got in your beard, TJ?
You talking about as far as letting it grow, or?
Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about.
Let's see here. December will be a year, so what? October, so almost
about 10 months.
Yeah. It might be a little longer if I wouldn't have trimmed it up a couple times.
Giving her the trim. We oh, you can look on the PSE Facebook page. There's a PSE bow dropping on like the 18th or 19th. Prime should be coming up in about a month. I hadn't heard anything on Matthews or Hoyt, or really anybody else.
I got a feeling that Hoyt and Matthews may wait till January if there's an ATA show.
Maybe.
I kind of got that feeling.
Anybody got any more questions on the email thing?
No,
okay.
That was all I had.
But yeah, so hopefully we'll have. Last year, I think round about the end of October, we had the bare bows coming in, so hopefully about the same thing. And the rep should be here next week, I'm guessing. We'll shoot those new ones and let y'all know, hopefully on the next live feed, kind of what they felt like, and go from there. But it's exciting, you know, as far as stuff getting released from about now till January. But let's see here. As a beginner, should I take archery classes or just try to shoot and prove by myself? That's a hard one. I mean, if you can find a good coach to at least start with, it never hurts, you know, so you don't like develop bad habits. But with YouTube and everything now, I mean, there's probably, you can learn a whole lot. You just, on YouTube, you just don't have somebody standing there saying, hey, change this up or whatever. But, I mean, you can get a good direction from YouTube or from something like that. But, you know, either way. But I'd say if you can find a local coach type person, at least use them for a little while, it gets you, you know, pointed in the right direction. Larry's ordered a few oddball strings lately. Yeah, one of them threw us for a loop. I don't remember which one it was. Or was it Larry?
Yeah, it was the Pearson Stinger.
Yeah, we had to do a bit of digging. There's actually been a couple. Today we had an old 1995 Darton Impulse come through. Had to do some digging on that one.
You know it's not a good pro shop when they have to go to the computer and Google the answer. I mean, that's true, but you know, we even have to use Google sometimes on some of these bows to try to find a draw mod chart, or with all the bow companies out there, like there's a couple of elite models out there that you can't take but 2 turns out of a limb.
I had a guy draw a bow, his peak was tied in with zip ties. Yeah, I've seen that before, and it seemed like it's usually the old bows, you know, like 80s, late 80s, early 90s. I don't know if that was popular. I don't remember seeing it in the late 90s or early 2000s, but we still see all that mess every now and then. It's crazy. People do some. We hadn't really had any good doozies here in the last week or two, I don't think, but it's something else. We've had a bunch this year, more than ever, I think. We've had a bunch of bows come in with a whisker biscuit mounted on the front of the bow. I don't know. I think it's a half box store, half people just trying to put it together themselves. Yeah, that's a big thing. Like, I won't call any local names around here, but there's a couple shops, like if you don't shoot the brand they carry, they're going to either not deal with you or make snarky comments or whatever. You know what I mean? There ain't no sense in being that way.
No.
But And, you know, the more I see on Facebook and all that stuff, it just seems like there's more and more. Well, with the internet the way it is now, I think at some point those shops are going to start to be eliminated. You know what I mean? Because it's just the way it is. But I don't know. We have people come in here all the time. I went here, there, yonder, and, you know, they told me, you know, didn't want to deal with me, or told me. I had one guy come in with a middle of the road bow, you know, nothing wrong with it, and I think a shop told him that was pretty much a junk bow and all this, and you can't do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You can't.
But anyway.
Let's see. I have a rubber chew thing that aligns to peep sight.
Mm-hmm. I like the ASAT pattern myself. I know who was talking to us about ASAT? Stanley Cooper's got some ASAT stuff. But I've always liked ASAT. I don't know why. It's just different.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, that's about all I got.
Yeah, me too.
Hopefully we'll next week can tell you more about exact stuff on these bear bows once we get them in our hand. And what else? I don't know of anything else coming out in the next week.
Because normally it's always been Bear, PSC, which they are releasing the one.
Yeah.
And then it's like we got a little bit of a gap. And then normally Prime, Matthews, Hoyt.
And Bowtech in January.
Yeah.
Yep.
What about Elite?
I hadn't heard anything about them.
Me neither.
What? And heck yeah. This skin guys, I remember when it's $100. No, I hadn't won my $100 back. I guess we need some kind of a rematch.
Oh Lord.
Hand me that plastic bow over there. Y'all see this bow the other day? That San Lita bow was like #1 on Amazon. So I mean, I know most of y'all are shooting Matthews and Hoyts and Primes and you know that stuff, but I know a lot of people don't have any feedback on these cheap bows, you know what I mean? So anyway, this was #1 on Amazon recently, so I ordered it. A Pandarus. For a kid, I think it would be all right. Have you pulled it back? It's got a limb stop on it.
Kind of.
But it's plastic, you know what I mean? But for $100.
It ain't bad. Kind of puts you in the mind of the Vortex.
The Vortex, or remember like 2 or 3 years ago, them cheap PSCs I ordered that were plastic?
Oh, yeah,
it looks just like it.
Yeah.
I mean, just like it. So, but anyway, when I seen the $100 thing, it reminded me of that. I mean, it's got the draw links like etched into the module and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it ain't something. It would be a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old's bow probably.
Yeah.
But I mean,
something to get started with.
Anyway. But she's plastic.
Yep.
But better than I expected. The cams were timed out of the box. That was impressive. Most of them ain't. But
yeah.
Come with a dozen. They are fiberglass arrows, but they'll shoot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was interested in it.
I mean, for, a kid starting out, it ain't bad. Got a knockoff biscuit on there.
Yeah. Caged riser like an Elite.
Yep. Almost got like a carbon vibe to it.
Samuel, I take the same binoculars I shoot 3D with, and they're 10x42 Alpins. I thought they were in here. I think they're up front, but I mean, I guess you don't have to, but I like to look around, you see something moving or can't quite see it. I like taking them I'll throw them in my backpack most of the time.
I think mine are in my backpack right now.
Yeah, I have to make sure my fingers ain't injured on our rematch. I don't know what to come up with another bow for a rematch.
Uh-oh.
Or something different. We'll take him a little butts. Nah. But
do a 60-yard recurve shot or something.
Yeah, I would like to do a video and just take our regular bows and shoot a balloon at whatever 300 yards, just some random long yardage that we'd never hit, but just see what happens. But anyway, we'll quit rambling and get off here.
Yep.
Let us know if y'all need anything. I'll put a video out in the morning about these couple used bows that we still got, and if you need one, holler at us. I think that Elite, we're going to probably, I just need to get it, well, I don't need to, but I want to get it out of here. It's got the dings in the riser, but I think I'm going to go to $425 shipped on it. And then that Q2 probably around $3. I think it's got a biscuit and a
3-pin joker on it.
Yeah, Trophy Ridge sight. And we got a couple black Sanlitas floating around we could do for 150-ish. I'll have to see if there's anything else. I don't think there is, but anyway, I'll throw a video out.
Fiberglass limbs on an Indian bow.
I wish those Indian bows, I've seen them, through the years, and no, they can't be replaced. But that was, I think a lot of people had those bows, from that Sears catalog in the day, because I don't see them as much anymore, but I used to see a few floating around.
Any cheap tripod recommendations to use with binos? That
I don't know anything off the top of my head.
I don't either. You'd have to look into like Bog. I know they make some stuff. I'm trying to think of who else. Any people with like spotting scopes, just check in with them.
Yeah. Anyway, y'all have a good evening, or whatever time it is where y'all are at. And we're going to, I guess, close her on down and get out of here. But thanks for tuning in. Next week we'll have some more info on these bows. And if you got any questions, if you want to just throw them in these comments, we'll look them up next week and talk about them.
Yep.
But anyway, y'all have a good one.
Yep, we'll see y'all.